Hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video with me, Tim Jones, and I'm joined again by the amazing music photographer, portrait photographer, Scarlet Page. And thank you again for joining me. You talked about your career and things in the previous video, and if you haven't watched that, go and jump back and have a watch. But we're going to talk about the exhibition, and go into a lot more detail about how we actually made the prints, and I suppose the process for actually printing an exhibition. First of all, let's talk about how did the exhibition all come about, basically. Let's start there.
Well, I suppose I've always thought it'd be nice to do something to mark 30 years as a music photographer. And really, my first image was printed in 1994. I graduated in 93. So luckily for me, a gallery that I had done an exhibition with in Sydney called Behind the Gallery approached me and said that they were looking at doing some pop-up shows in London, and would I be interested in doing an exhibition this year? And I said, well, actually, it's my 30th year, so it would be brilliant. And they've been incredible, allowing me to sort of call the shots in terms of how I saw it best. So then that's when I decided to just pick 30 images. And because I was only picking 30, I wanted to make them very special. And I was talking to Hannah Muller there because I print my music photography print sales images with their paper anyway, but I wasn't aware of the metallic photo rag. And it's always, you get so used to printing on one kind of, you just get used to a formula and it works for you. And, it's the industry, well, it's the one I've used so far. But it's always good to sort of learn about what's new. And I had tried some of their newer Photorag matte Barita paper and the silk. But it was when I was looking at some of the samples that I spotted this metallic and just knew that was going to be the one, because it just felt, well, it took my breath away. And I thought, this creates such a beautiful product that kind of really celebrates what I'm doing here, I feel. Yeah,
I think you're right. It's just something really special, this paper.
It's like having been to see Taylor Swift this last week. Anything that sparkles a little bit, it's just, it's so eye-grabbing. And the way it plays with some of the images that, I'm used to seeing printed before, it just sort of brings another level out.
Yeah, it adds almost a dimension to it. It's kind of like a different kind of look to a picture. Yeah. And it's got that very slight texture as well. Yeah. Which is lovely. I mean, I've done a couple of videos on this paper as well, because it's just lovely. I kind of can't get over it. Brilliantly, doesn't it, for colour and black and white? I mean, what really drew you to it? Is it that kind of extra depth and that depth it kind of gives?
And I suppose it's that sort of the shine, just the metallicness of it. It's just taking them to a different level. It's elevating, I feel. But I was really shocked at how the colour reacted in a really positive way. Because actually, I've got a Epson P900 at home, and I started doing lots of test prints and remastering old images, and quite quickly, it's like the picture I've taken of Brian Molko with the angel wings. I mean, they're sort of, they're plastic, metallic angel wings. But I think that was one of the first ones I printed, because I thought, well, this is going to be a no-brainer.
Yeah, and it's the purple as well.
Yeah.
It just shimmers.
Yeah, actually purples, and this picture of Coldplay where there's all the confetti, just seeing it, I find it quite hard to show you without seeing it. But when you see it, you have to see it. You have to sort of hold it and look at it. Well, you don't hold it, but the way it reflects the light and does its own magical thing.
Well, it just makes them really special, like a limited edition. So. It's kind of
and that's it. I thought, right, I'm going to do 10 of each size, and that is it. Yeah. So,
So for the exhibition, we've printed, the framed prints are 20 by 24.
Yeah.
And you're also doing a selection of smaller prints as well, all in addition.
Yes, 10.
10. So are you doing A4, A3, or have you picked?
No, it's just one size, and I think we're just going to go half of like a 10 by 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, all the details are. We're just sort of in the last throes of. By the time you see this, we'll be even closer. But yeah, we're sort of. There's definitely the two sizes, the larger and the smaller, and just 10 of each.
So we want to talk a little bit about more the exhibition, and then we'll move on to the printing side of things, because the process of putting on an exhibition is more involved than I think I ever thought, and most people will think as well. Would you say? I mean, how did you come across the gallery, and how did that all come? Because that's the tricky bit, isn't it? Finding spaces.
I was really lucky with the gallery. Well, the gallery that we're showing in. Well, again, I was really lucky because behind the gallery they came forward with a few different options, and one was in Old Street, and one was in Fitzrovia, which is quite close to Oxford Circus and Tottenham Court Road. And actually, that's where I did my degree in photography. And so I thought, well, yes, we could be trendy and go to East London. Or I could sit with something that feels like me, which is there, and it's tucked away. It's you know, it's not in a super busy street, but it's just it's got the right vibe.
See, this is all in London, by the way, here in the UK.
Yes, so, yes.
Yeah, and I think it was. So did they approach you?
So Behind the Gallery approached me a few years ago, and I did an exhibition in Sydney, which was like. It was interesting because the first shot that I ever had published was actually photographed in Australia. Oh, wow. And I have photographed a few Australian bands and done quite a few shoots in Australia. So when I did that exhibition, even though it was a bit of a mixed bag of all my images, it wasn't a retrospective, but I had a bit of an Australian slant to it, which was lovely. And it was so brilliant being in Sydney for 2 weeks. And then when they decided they were doing a few pop-ups in London, I jumped at the chance because, you know, very lucky. It just worked out. So it's not always that easy, but this has been really lovely, the way it's sort of flown together. I have another exhibition that we might talk about again, which is more like a collaborative. It's for a gallery called the Art Hound Gallery, and we're doing that in October and November, but we'll talk about that another time. It's a very different... but equally exciting. But here we're doing this very special metallic limited editions, and that's really what we're talking about.
You can't think about the other one at the minute.
No, God, I can't get in that zone. I'm fully in this zone at the moment.
And I think I think that's the way to be. But I suppose it's all the admin with an exhibition as well that you don't think about. You kind of think, the framing and printing are kind of...
Well, and remembering to invite everyone that's helped me along the way, you know, and it's very hard to edit down to just 30 images, and also they have to be to a certain degree commercial. It can't just be something that really resonates with me. I mean, these do resonate with me, but I have to also think of like an audience, and but equally there's going to be one wall that's dedicated to everything. And that's really exciting as well, because it's like these are so classy and crisp and beautiful pieces in their own right, but then it's just going to be nice to go, and this is me and everything, and that's
I think that's important, isn't it?
Suddenly now starts to feel like quite yay me.
So how did you pick?
Well, I think I picked some of the old favourites that have been with me for quite a long time, but I didn't want it all to be really... It's interesting because some of the images that you take, for example, like Noel and Liam Gallagher, at the time wasn't... It's definitely grown with time in terms of its importance. And I think it is a very... classic. I mean, they're sort of quite David Bailey-esque in their
I was going to say it's quite
capture, and they also look like mugshots, and they have become other people since then. But I think time sometimes makes us look back on images with more of a fondness, and they become more like classic images. Weirdly, it's nothing that I've done particularly, but it's just what happens, and so. There is a tendency to want to look back at the older images because you think, oh, they're classic images now. But it was also then important to put some more, you know, some images that I've taken this year and put them in. So an image from Glastonbury and an image of the Foo Fighters that I took in the summer. But, you know, you can keep, it's like anything. It's like you can make a website and you go, it's not quite right. And you could spend so much time sort of fussing, or you just have to go, right, this is it. And this is 30. When we get to 40, Tim, there'll be 40 to do.
Yes, 2 years.
But for now, you know, I feel happy with the choices I've made. I've thrown in a few kind of odd ones into the mix, but it feels right.
Yeah, but I think it shows who you photograph and the array of people you photograph, from very huge, massive bands. But you've also mixed it in with,
like 9 Inch Nails or Courtney Love, or even At the Drive-In, which people like who. But again, that's a sort of balance of me going, there's something about that image that makes me happy, and I want it to be in there.
I mean, the 9 Inch Nails one for me brings back so many memories.
Really?
But I remember all the flower.
Yes.
I think it's flower. Was it plaster they used to use?
Who knows? Maybe it's maybe it's drugs.
It's could be.
No, it isn't.
No, we're not going to go there. And I think it's, do you find pictures, because of that, of the bands you photographed, do you think the importance of them for clients or people or yourself even, kind of, it grows over time? Like you said about the Oasis picture.
I do, 100%.
And says so much more about them now
than
because
then.
We've got that.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's you know, some of the images. Well, even sort of Courtney Love, or you know, it's the thing as time goes on, you view things in a nostalgic way. Particularly, you know, they're part of our history, very much so, and some of these have defined chapters in our lives, and probably pre-kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And you sort of look back with a fondness as well, or you know, it's really hard. It's a whole subject in itself, I think. You know, what makes art, what makes a classic image.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it really is in the eye of.
And then time gives certain poignance, resonance to certain pictures you've taken.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of kind of the Foo Fighters, people who are no longer with us, that have a little bit more kind of meaning now. But I think that's what's wonderful about any photography, isn't it? Obviously we're in Winehouse as well, but they grow, they take on different meanings, photograph, and art does, I suppose, over time, and it changes for you as well, I'd imagine. For
sure. And you know, it's like, I am fond of them as well. You know, it's funny because as time has gone on, I do feel a fondness more so for them than I might have done at the time as well. Yeah. You know,
you look back and think, oh, yeah, that's good fun actually.
Yeah. Kind of so that's really a great feeling to feel. I think that's it now, sort of getting to 30 years of doing it, and just to think, you know, I'm really proud of what I've done and what I've achieved, and the longevity, because it's not easy, but but it's, you know, it's been, like I say, I feel very lucky as well. It's been incredible to have that opportunity and that access and those experiences.
And well, tell a story of these musicians, bands.
And sometimes that image has become very much part of the band's identity as well.
Yeah. You know, I mean, this one here. I suppose everyone's probably seen. Yeah. Well, hopefully seen this one anyway. It's stereophonics, isn't it?
So that's. So how do I do this upside down?
Yeah.
So that's the album cover, and then the gatefold was like you open it up.
Yeah.
And like certainly that angel wing symbolism with placebo.
Yes.
And
I mean, the Robbie Williams ones as well. I love them.
I love the man and the sort of masculinity in that one.
Well, I think it tells that story. I think, with hindsight, for me anyway, we look back at this one And for me, it shows me, I mean, this is very early, I'd imagine, kind of first album.
So it's late 1999, I'd say.
And now we know through documentaries or whatever, and he's opened up about like the struggle he had at this point, and actually getting the album made, finishing it and doing it and things like that we know. And it, I mean, it just shows, I think it says that to me, it's kind of that kind of cheeky.
And actually I was brought into that. It was a book project. And I was brought in to be very much sort of a fly on the wall that was not intrusive, and I think they enjoyed my energy, sort of being around. You know, I wasn't going to add anything negative to the pot, and certainly sensitivities, and you know that's really important, and it's something that I've always been very respectful of with people that I'm photographing. I don't want to sort of cross a line, but I also, you still need to get the images. But so it's just incredible to have access and be trusted to get the job done, but on your own terms, kind of thing. Yeah,
and I think it's nice that the bands give you that freedom to do it.
Yes.
But let's move back to the prints, because I think that, I mean,
so these are my test prints.
Yeah,
these are not the final ones. So some of them are a bit sort of grotty around the edges.
Yeah, but I think there's a couple of marks, isn't there? Things like that. But I mean, you've printed these on your 900 at home.
Yes.
On the photo rag metallic.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of
if they were going to work. And if I'd got it right, and you know, to try and make it easier for this end when I got together with you and you printed, and obviously there were a couple that weren't so easy. But
there's always going to be, I think I said to you as well, you do test prints like this, it's great, but you've got your own system, and then...
Well, that's the problem. Then I'm like, yeah, this is brilliant. I love it like that. Why isn't it looking like this?
Yeah.
But we did.
And then we work on them. I mean, the Courtney Love picture.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a few of the tests
I'm not sure really what happened there, but we did have to do...
It got a little bit flat. We wanted this lovely...
It's a golden hour sun. Like the sun's going down. She's on stage at Reading. And there was just something so warm, and... like her hair looks like a lion, but she's crying. Yeah. And there's just a lot going on.
But we almost lost.
Yeah.
The face became too neutral, and then the arm became too warm, and then
it was too dark at one point. And but then, thank you, we managed to
persevered, didn't we?
Bring her back.
Yeah, it was actually quite a difficult one to.
Surprisingly.
We didn't think it was. It looked great on the screen, it looked all fine, but I think it was just the difference between your test and also the profiles you use for your tests as well. Different printer. Yeah. Although they got the same head, the same ink, 12 colours in there as well, same as the 900. And it just get those slight differences. But it was, when we started, it was quite a big difference, wasn't it? It was like chalk and cheese, and we kind of lost
I mean, my face probably just went,
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, it's you see the test, and that's the thing, I'm seeing how the metallic paper is working, and I was like, we're just not getting it. It's not doing the magic enough. And then you get it back, and you're like, okay, there we are. Yeah.
And we went through quite a bit, didn't we, to try and get them. We did them all A3 tests and things. We did a couple of big ones as well. Yeah. And you always, I know you said to me that you kind of always notice some things when they go big. Yeah. Then you notice the little marks.
Well, then I noticed a few dimples on the chin. Yeah. I was like, they look like weird white spots. So
we had little... There was little spots in this one as well, wasn't there? And we printed it big.
And even like here. And so luckily, you know, I was able to retouch here with you. Yeah. And then...
that's the beauty with sitting together and doing it. We can say, and then you get it, you big and go, oh God, that is quite distracting now. You can pop it out. I know there's bits in the background, wasn't there? Yeah. Some little bits. But on the print, small prints, you don't see it. No. It's just not there.
I know. And that's the thing, like you were saying, that, you know, you look at a small print, like it's the size of the print away from you.
Yeah, so really the rough rule is it's the longest. It's either corner to corner or basically the longest edge you should view it at. So
here, yeah. Or put your glasses on.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
still would never recommend doing this. Yeah, put glasses on. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how when you're looking at it on this size, and then it can look quite different when you're printing it 2024. But they look incredible, and they do have the wow factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially on this paper, we keep mentioning it, but hardly have told us.
It's beautiful. It's so lovely, and that's it. You know, I just hope that everyone will appreciate what I'm appreciating here, because it's
not like a super high gloss, is it?
No, even though it says gloss, but it's not a super high gloss. It's just the right
satiny kind of feel to it, which just catches that light, and you've got that beautiful kind of metallic going on. We should say it's also fully archival, this paper as well. Comes all certificated and everything as well. 100% cotton, things like that. If you want to know a bit more about the paper, a little bit more of a really in-depth kind of look at this paper, I'll put the link below to videos I've done on this paper, printed different subjects on it as well, and things like that, looking a bit more at the textures and things, and really highlighting what this paper can do for you. But I hope with all the shots I'm kind of showing you and things like that, you can actually see what it's done for Scarlet's work anyway. And
I'm so chuffed, honestly. They're exactly right, and exactly how I wanted it to be.
Good.
They feel very special.
Well, it's all about the shots, obviously. So then doing justice to those shots.
It's a happy teamwork situation.
Yeah.
The artists, the capture, the paper, the printer. Honestly, they look incredible. Thank you.
No problem at all. Like I said in the previous video, I don't really want to see Courtney Love anymore. but yeah, we've it was weird. I still can't get over it. Anyway, we got the final print and it was great. But we kind of met in the middle with that one, didn't we?
Yes.
It was test print, and then we kind of looked at it and.
Because I think my test print was a little it wasn't actually the best it could be, and then I think. You showing me some other options, we managed to get, actually, this is better.
I think that's a nice way of saying it. It's other options.
Yeah.
They're not bad prints, they're just other options, and you just pick the one you like. Obviously, unless it's horribly green or something like that. But we did have one, and then we resolved that, which was quite nice. But I think they've come out really nice.
Because even some of the rejects are still beautiful.
Yeah.
But we've made the final selection now.
Yes, so it's I think they've come out really, really nicely. And fantastic. And thanks for Harlemila for supporting the exhibition as well. Supporting us as well when we needed an extra roll and things because of tests and things like that. They were very accommodating for us. And also Epson as well, because they've supported us as well in some inks and things like that. So big thank you to them as well.
And Epson really supported me prior to lockdown, lent me a scanner, which I'm still using, and has enabled me to do all this archiving and particularly this montage kind of like tribute to myself that I'm putting up. You know, we scan my archive twice a week. I mean, we are constantly doing it. We have been doing it for a couple of years. So I'm hugely indebted to Epson for that, and also to be able to do all these test prints at home, and you know, up to A2, isn't it? A2 plus, or
A2 plus on that one. You put a 17-inch roll on it,
which I have printed out pictures for smaller exhibitions on it. So yeah, it's I'm very grateful. Yeah,
and we should give a bit of a shout out to Dominic at Epson as well, because he's been guiding me.
He's been hands-on as well.
I know he helps me a lot as well. So and also to Nuala and Lucinda as well, especially at Harlemila as well, for putting up with us, I suppose. Putting up with me anyway, I should say. And what they've done and helped us along the way with papers and things like that, and support they've given. But I think they all look absolutely fantastic. I really can't wait to see them framed either, because I always think the framing just adds that little bit of just that little sort of magic, tiny little magic kind of something to them. Just hope I've done them right and the framer doesn't reject them. But
we've done great.
The look of worry, sorry. Anyway, but So the exhibition opens on the
12th of September, and there's an artist talk on Saturday the 14th, and it all finishes on the 15th. So it's very quick.
Okay, yeah, quick.
Short, sharp shock. Please come.
Well, thanks again for Scarlet for coming in and allowing me and Fotospeed to be part of this exhibition and allowing me to actually print it as well. And it's been great spending these few days with you to actually go through and print all these amazing pictures and seeing your archive.
Thank you.
A very small snippet of your archive.
A little snippet, but yeah, a really sort of nice little milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, because it's been brilliant.
And we've given shouts out to Harlan Miller as well and Epson as well, because they've been great supporting us as well. So on that note, don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel and also sign up to our newsletter on photospeed.com. Again, links in the description. So on that note, we will see you next time, and bye-bye.